Thanks for staying with us. We're still having this conversation, and Tokwe is ready with her question.
Yes, I had a question, and I'm still going to go to the question, but I want to first start in defense of the Nigerian media.
Help us.
Yes, I need to first start by defending the Nigerian media, because I think that a lot of times we get bashed by both sides. When we talk about the reality of what is happening in Nigeria, the Nigerians will feel like we're not talking about it passionately enough. The government and officials will feel like we are focusing too much on the challenges happening within Nigeria. And then, like you just said, Honorable, they'll bring up the case of international news not carrying the local challenges. But I'm well traveled, and I know that the local news is totally different from what you get on the global stage. Nigeria, on the other hand, we don't have an international channel that will separate the news that goes international from the news that gets local. Every day on local television, in the United States, you are hearing killing, shooting, and a lot of insulting of the government. So the media there, they are doing their job, which is to hold the government accountable, and we are trying our best here as well. So we understand the challenge, which is that we don't have the international front, and everything we say in Nigeria goes global, and it paints Nigeria bad. So we balance it, and then we get bashed by both sides of the fence. So this is just quickly in defense of the Nigerian media.
Thank you.
But I have a question. You mentioned a few lists of countries that President Donald Trump has attacked. And the resolution didn't look good, especially for the Ukraine, even for South Africa. It felt like the presidents were embarrassed. So I was a bit scared that if our president goes to have a meeting, I didn't want the kind of drama that happened with South African president and especially Ukraine president. It was very embarrassing for the country. I felt we should, maybe this idea of having a dialogue might be better from a distance than having a closed-door meeting where they would wash. Like it will not look good at all. Sir, what do you have to say concerning the previous experiences with presidents that met with President Donald Trump?
Okay, but before I go then, let me join issues with your defense of the media. The very premise that you said, let me defend the media, is the problem. Because you don't need to defend the media. You only need to be transparent. The media is supposed to be transparent. And anytime we mention media, I discover in all platforms, because they want to be kind of protect the camaraderie of the fellowship or the fraternity. They will say, let me defend the media. To be true to us, you don't have to defend it. Just be transparent. There is a silent majority of people who watch and form opinion, whether on government or on the media. The media, too, is subject to scrutiny. Just because they scrutinize government does not mean they are not subject to scrutiny. That's what you see in the Western world. Let me even tell you, my sister, it is the very reason in America today that mainstream media lost credibility and people are putting reliance on podcasters. I'm telling you, Joe Rogan has more viewership than CNN. Lately, there was a report 2-3 weeks ago, Valutainment of Patrick Bet-David had more viewership than CNN. CNN had to be laying off people. So it is the consumer base is the Nigerian people. They determine what is discussed. Nigerians care about their problem, how it's going to be solved. Nigerians care about the things that affect what they do, how they eat, and the rest. And there are quite a number of media houses and journalists who are doing very well. When we make comments like that, it's general statement, not specific to anybody. You know, in my legal profession, they used to have that problem too. When you touch anything about lawyers, somebody will say, let me defend it. You don't have to defend lawyers. There are criminal lawyers, there are good lawyers. True. Just be transparent. That's all that matters. Now, let me answer your question about possible embarrassment. Leadership is built to take the embarrassment anywhere for the good of your country. That's why when Ramaphosa went there, he was calm and collected. After the drama, the way CNN analyzed, they said he was the adult in the room. Yes. Because when they were reeling out that fake news that it was the killing of white, when in fact it was a ceremony, like a remembrance ceremony about the killing of some people, he was calm and collected. And by the time Donald Trump finished, he explains his own. But the bottom line is that after that incident, the diplomatic row or tension between both countries goes down. I remember anytime you go to see the president and you request for something that is inconvenient, he will say, I asked for the job. I can't complain. The last time I was in the office, we finished talking and I said, Daddy, if you don't mind, let me snap a photo with you. He was tired and seated. And I said, but Daddy, you don't have to stand up. I would just stay like, he said, no, I asked for the job. And he stood up and came out. And President Bwala Tinubu exemplifies and embodies this leadership that is very calm and collected.
Yeah.
If President Bola Tinubu is one that reacts to anything that is said, by now, the kind of people will be put in prison in Nigeria. But you abuse him, you say anything, he doesn't. It is people around him that are necessarily fighting people. He doesn't. He's calm because he's focused on what he wants to achieve. And nothing can take away that his focus. So, and my president, when he goes to the Washington, D.C., or when the President Donald Trump comes, because it's not like one-sided. President Donald Trump can decide to come. Now, if a sit-down like that happen, no matter what they say, when they finish, you will talk now. Is that, can they say something and you will not talk? And if they do blah, 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 and they finish, he finished that day, but it would solve the problem. At least he will hear from your mouth that thing he has been relied on is fake news. And probably people around him don't tell him. Let me tell you, only yesterday alone, I granted interview with BBC World Service, Financial Times London, Reuters, CNN, Washington Post, ABC, and AFP. All of the interview when we finish, these people will privately say that they are not aware of these facts. Because you see, the Western media, they don't cover stories in Africa. And most often than not, they rely on report by NGO. 90% of the NGO in Nigeria are funded by foreign interests. You can never get funding as NGO until your report contradicts, denigrate your country. Wow. If you see any NGO that is talking about realities of Nigeria in terms of the success and progress we made, you don't go get money. So the African man has to deliver himself from that.
That's
you can hold your government to account. There's no problem about that. You can call out public officers. That's your job. But then when the public officers do good, you must say it. There's somebody in one
Honorable Bwala, because of time.
Any day Nigeria scores point, and they're announcing it, he will act like somebody died.
Yeah, because of
but
time.
When something goes against Nigeria, he will be jumping like somebody that is masturbating.
Okay, because of time, I want to ask you one final question before I let you go. How do you think we can engage international media going forward to ensure balanced reporting of our news? Because I think that's where the problem
that's the reason I'm here in Washington, D.C. I came a few days ago engaging the foreign media. And like I mentioned, about 8 to you now, 9 actually. I have 4 others lining up for today, including Fox News. There are other podcasts I have scheduled to have interview with them who are also of the MAGA base. This is how you get to the ears of the person. If the person only listens to, if somebody only eats akamu, you get his attention by buying akamu. You know, if the person listens to a certain TV station or certain podcast, and that's the only one he feeds from, you go there and give the Nigerian story. So this is how we are engaging the foreign media and doing what the best that we can to give the Nigerian story.
Thank you so much, Honorable Daniel Bwala, the Special Advisor to the President on Communication, for joining us this morning and sharing with us. At least you have, well, my mind is at peace, knowing that because we, first of all, are a sovereign nation, and the fact that Donald Trump's antecedents will not just let him barge into the country without having a proper conversation. I think many Nigerians will relax now and then see what the security operatives will do going forward to solve many of our insecurity issues while we wait for the meeting that's going to be happening between the president and Donald Trump sometime in the future. Thank you so much for sharing with us. Thank you, ladies, for your contributions. So we'll be taking a short break now. When we come back, the show continues. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.